starting out, they have this impulse to fix the abstract. And I just wonder how you work with that yourself, because I try to understand your work, more and more every time, and I feel like you well designed this negative space really, and sort of throw people off of that. But I'm wondering, what do you think of this practice or style?
It's a crapshoot. In some sense, I mean, I don't know. I really what I liked about working with some of these big poems like digitally, the Burroughs ones, was going through a few pages of his work, picking out, plucking words and things like that, and kind of doing my own cut up and making the poem come together, then adding some other things that just kind of came as I went. And I think that's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do kind of a cut up method there with it, and I think that was just it was a kind of a quick thing. It was fun to do, but it was I just thought of that idea to try that, and so because frankly I was scared shitless earlier in the week because I had nothing to say in some sense, and I felt I needed to get off my ass and do it. So I didn't grade. So I wrote some poems.
So what do you all think is the attraction of these two poets to contemporary poets? I mean, why do people still read them? Why are they important?
I think I'll talk about maybe Bukowski. I haven't read much of Burroughs, so I can't really speak about that. But I think my attraction to Bukowski early on in my writing was the simplicity that he wrote with, and even though it's not popular or great, his honesty, and it allowed for me to not be afraid to write, especially when you grow up around a lot of sadness and poverty and crime and stuff like that. It makes it easier to write about certain things, and I think it helped me develop my voice when I first started reading Bukowski and trying to imitate him. But it was just a stepping stone to other poets after that. And Bukowski, why the longevity in these writers or Bukowski? I don't know. But I hope that all of us here at this panel, are lucky enough to have that longevity as well, and all of you poets that are out in the audience, and we become, the future of what they are to us now. And I believe we can be if we write enough. And I think my attraction was. And it's like with relationships, I think. You're attracted to people that you grew up knowing, and sometimes it can be a bad, choice, but growing up, you realize or you believe love is what you see in your home, and sometimes it's not a good thing. Sometimes it could be destructive, it can be abusive, but that's all you know, and that's all you know, of what love is. And so I think that was my attraction, that I could relate, and kind of gave me that go ahead to not be afraid to tackle my demons and those things that were coming back to me because of the rawness of the poetry and the honesty. And I think Bukowski helped me be more honest about my darkness. And although I don't agree with a lot of the things, but people won't agree with a lot of my things either. And so as long as people learn from me, or the way I learned from him, and then turned it around and did some good things with it, I think it's okay.
You want to say something to that?
So one of the things I think that attracted me to Burroughs, I started out liking Bukowski first, and then I because of that encounter, I just kind of like dropped off of Bukowski, honestly. And so but I caught on to Burroughs in the mid '90s. I mean, I already had some of his work, but I just hadn't read it yet. And I like that. I liked it. And one of the things, we had the speculative poets earlier today. I mean, Burroughs is a speculative poet, and when you really look at it, and it is poetry compared to just like cut up and everything like that. It's very interesting. His characters that come in and out of his stories are just incredible. So I mean, that's one of the things that I still like, and I'm just attracted to that kind of idea. Next question? Okay. Next question. Any more questions? Yes. Water. Next question?
Old station hot dogs. Robin. Yep.
I just have a question. It's really interesting. Edward mentioned letter writing that you really appreciated, and I was thinking, it made me think of really famous letters recently published between Ada Limon and Natalie Diaz. Really personal letters over exchange of a year or so, 8 letter exchanges, and it was published in the New Yorker, introduced by Kevin Young. And it made me think about how they invited the rest of us to think about writing to each other in our poems as letters. You know, when we write and publish our poems, to me they are love letters to a wider audience. They're love letters to the self and to our readership, love letters. And I wondered, for each of you, when you're sitting down to write, if there is a particular audience that you're thinking about when you're writing or when you're revising or anything like that. If you're trying to make a connection to a particular person that perhaps might open up wider, or just whatever.
One for me, I took on the two personality thing in order because of the question of audience. There were some things that I just didn't want on my name, but I really needed to get this out of my system. And so I came from the music world, and where it's working in Nashville as a professional songwriter and then touring with bands and things like that. And I came to the poetry thing there's so much that music has to teach us about audience. And Nashville had rules, there were laws. I mean, you follow these laws of being in front of people, these kinds of things. And so I'm considering audience all the time while I'm writing, while I'm choosing what to read, things like that. And it's very important to me. Yeah.
That's a great question, Rob. I mean, and I think I dodged that a little bit, or at least I did as I was processing it. And I'll say it depends on what I'm writing. You know, knowing now that everything is accessible all the time, anywhere. So it doesn't even matter which audience we intend anything for. Should the interest or opportunity arise, everybody gets it. Which is it's a whole other thing. But for me personally, in my writing, a lot of what I think I'm trying to express in a million different ways is just that truth that there's opportunity out there over the horizon, around that corner, over that mountain, wherever it is that you're not at and you're not there, and you don't even know where there is yet, but just the fact that it is there. I can't tell you if it's going to be good, bad, if you're going to like it, you're not going to like it, if it's going to be better than here or worse than here, but that it is there. And to honor the spirit that goes out to look for it. It doesn't just wait for whatever happens. So in that way, I think I am writing for the folks that not writing for the folks that are out there doing that because they're too busy doing that to read my shit. You know, I didn't read anything when I was breaking the law. A lot more than I do now. But I write it more for the folks that wish they could. That wish things were different. I wish that some of those boundaries and some of those limits and some of those obstacles weren't present. And just give them a shout out and say, yeah, it's don't worry, it's out here. We got this. You're doing what you can, and that's all right. Right?
I write because I think it's important to tell my truth as the man that I am. That everything I write is what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and it's like I said, it's my truth. And you know, it's important because I look at everything that's going on around me, and it could be good, it could be bad, but it's my truth, and it's something that, you know, I want my daughter to, you know, be able to read, you know, throughout her life and get to know me. If you can get to know me now in life, maybe in death she might know a little more about me and those empty pockets that we couldn't fill in our life together. And so I write also for those that are looking or searching for their own voice, to say, shit man, he's writing what I could write. You know, it's like when I first came across Always Running, the book by Luis Rodriguez, I thought, you know, why is he telling my story? You know, and was angry because he beat me to it, you know. And I think that happens with a lot of us, or even people that invent stuff, or are out there trying to invent the next big thing. Somebody comes up with a wheel and they're like, shit, I was thinking about it, but I didn't do it, you know. And so, yeah, I write because I want people, I mean, not so much, I want people to know Edward, but just a man that lived during these times and what was going on in his, you know, political life and in his love life, and what was it like? You know, you think of the things that are found now about, you know, the Egyptians. I mean, it's just crazy, but the hieroglyphics and all that, they look at all that and they say, well, this man back in this day hunted with a dog or ate, you know, this. Well, you know, who knows what's going to happen, you know, 100 years from now, but they'll go back and maybe find an old book of mine, you know, dusty under rubble or something, and they'll see, oh, this guy was talking about this. Or, wow, look what was going on in this side of the world, along the border. You know, why were they so angry about it? Why is he writing about this? And so, if it just helps somebody now get their voice out, and because I think everybody should write. I think everyone should be a writer, so that they can tell their story. And everyone has a great story, and every poet has an epic line in them that's just waiting to come out. And so I think we all need to, you know, just share what we have, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I'm just gonna say that to answer your question, it's like my audience is out there. Every once in a while, I meet one of them, and that's nice. I think the editing process, though, that part of your question, I think is really important because it's got to be done, and you know it has to go through. You have to work it, and there's times that it's closer to a one-off than others, but some are mostly crafted. You know, I mean that's important. I know these guys are craftsmen here, these writers here. Okay, you know. I'm glad that they allowed me to do this and to hang out with them and all, and I think we're going to close it down for the night. Okay, thank you for coming to the 4th Annual People's Poetry Festival. Good night.